For more about the impact of Florence in North Carolina, we turn to Republican Senator Thom Tillis. He's at the Red Cross shelter in Charlotte. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Senator, how's your state holding up in the wake of this storm?
Well, we're doing as well as we can. This is a weather event that I believe will exceed the damage that Matthew did just 2 years ago. So while we were still recovering from that event, we've got the same areas engulfed and rivers that are going to overflow their banks over the next few days. And I think some of the worst part of the storm hasn't even occurred yet. It will as we see the rivers flow back to the coast.
When you say it hasn't occurred yet, what do you expect?
Well, with the rain levels and some of the cresting estimates for the Cape Fear River, a number of the other rivers and tributaries that head ultimately to our sounds or out to the ocean, we're talking about crest amounts that exceed what we saw with Hurricane Matthew. And I'm in Charlotte, we're just now beginning to see the rain bands more consistently dump water in this region. It's supposed to move up through the mountains. So the river basins are going to take a matter of days before we'll see the full effects of the storm. And we're already seeing a number of roads cut off, interstates likely to be closed over the next 24 to 48 hours. That creates a number of challenges for the local communities and for disaster relief.
Are you getting the federal help you need?
We are. I think that the FEMA assets were positioned as well as they could be before we knew where the storm was going to make landfall. The Red Cross is doing an extraordinary job. We have 4 evacuation centers here in the Charlotte area that have people from as far as Wilmington, Jacksonville, and Columbia, South Carolina here. It's at capacity. We have 3 others that continue to have capacity. We'd expect to see some of those fill up as the storm progresses through this part of the region.
During Hurricane Harvey, there were troubles with emergency services, people having difficulty getting through. Is that okay in this case?
At this point, in our section of the state, yes. There are certainly areas in the eastern part of the state where Florence made landfall, where flooding, down power lines, down trees are creating challenges. But the reports that we're getting is we're working through them. Duke Power's on the scene. They're trying to do everything they can to restore electricity to hundreds of thousands, and I don't believe we've seen the end of that. We've seen several thousand homes in my own county here in Mecklenburg County in Charlotte that are out of power. That's going to continue. It'll likely be weeks before it's all fully restored.
All right, Senator, when you get back to Washington, you got a vote on Tuesday in the Judiciary Committee, which you sit on. There's been some information about sexual misconduct allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, the president's nominee. Have you looked at the letter that is now a part of his file? Have you looked at that?
I haven't seen the letter. As a matter of fact, I believe that the member that first received the letter was as late as July. And quite honestly, I'm shocked that the matter didn't come up in the nearly 32 hours of testimony that Judge Kavanaugh was before us in the open session, or the nearly hour and a half session that we had in a closed session. That information never came up. So when we get back to Washington this week, we'll take a look at it. But it really raises a question in my mind about if this was material to the confirmation process, why on earth over the past 4 to 6 weeks hasn't it been discussed among the committee members?
That's right. And we should make quite clear, this is something he's denied categorically. This is something that allegedly happened much more than 30 years ago. But now that it is in the mix, is your feeling that this is a ploy of some kind, or that this is, while it is so long ago, sufficiently important to look seriously and put into your calculation and others as they make their vote?
Well, I've spent most of my time focused on Hurricane Florence, but the questions that we will ask and seek answers to next week are, why sit on it for weeks? We understand that the person who wrote the letter is not willing to come forward. So we have a confidential witness not willing to sit down, at least in a closed setting. That's problematic to me. And as you said, Judge Kavanaugh has categorically denied the allegations, and I put some weight on that.
Very quickly, Senator, you think he'll be confirmed by the Senate?
Oh, I do. I think that we'll move forward to report them out of committee and confirm them before October.
Senator Tillis, thanks so much for being with us.